will realize it is put together by Andrew Matthews and Tony Ross. So this is an abridged kind of version. There are notes also on Shakespeare and the Globe Theatre, Love and Death in Antony and Cleopatra. So here we will see that it is an excellent introduction to Shakespeare for the junior leader as a school librarian put it. So let's have a look at this Antony and Cleopatra, and then we'll have notes on the other two as well. So would you like to do the book as such, or Antony and Cleopatra, or shall we just do the notes? Maybe the notes might be a good idea for another time. I was going to say it for doing today, but then I thought that maybe it can be done tomorrow. Maybe just Love and Death we can do, and Shakespeare and the Globe Theatre notes later. Love and Death we can have a look at now, and then we'll go on to see about Antony and Cleopatra. So Love and Death in Antony and Cleopatra. When Mark Antony and Cleopatra meet, they both know they have found the love of their lives. Antony is a Roman, a disciplined soldier, and a courageous and brilliant general who rules a third of the Roman Empire. Queen Cleopatra of Egypt is beautiful, stubborn, fiery tempered, and used to having her own way. Yet, in spite of their differences, Antony's love for Cleopatra is so strong that he abandons Rome and stays in Egypt, where they live together and have several children. Then history turns against them. In order to keep the Roman world united, Antony is forced to marry the sister of Octavius Caesar. The marriage is a sham, and Antony quickly returns to Egypt, but this gives the ambitious Octavius the excuse that he needs to make war and take the whole empire for himself. Against the advice of his generals, Antony fights the Roman fleet at Actium, where Cleopatra's meddling causes a massive defeat. Antony bungles a suicide attempt and is taken to Cleopatra's hiding place. He dies in her arms. Antony sacrifices everything for Cleopatra, his reputation, his loyalty to his country, and his life. After he is dead, Octavius offers Cleopatra peace, but she chooses a noble death over a shameful surrender. Cleopatra cannot bear to live without Antony and joins him in death, passing out of history into legend, where she and her and Antony's love will live forever. It is truly a beautiful story of two greats of history, and extremely touching to know their stories. So let us see about Antony and Cleopatra. There is a quote here for you by Cleopatra. Eternity was in our lips and eyes, bliss in our brows bent. None our paths so poor, but was a race of heaven. You want to know about Antony and Cleopatra? Let me tell you the story, the real story. I was there at the start, the night Julius Caesar was killed, and Antony made a speech over his body in the marketplace. As soon as Antony stood before us, pale and proud in the torchlight, my heart went out to him. He spoke in a voice like the beating of a war drum. By the time he had finished speaking, I knew I would follow him anywhere to the shores of Hades and beyond if he asked me to. So this is in the words of Cleopatra. When civil war broke out, I was one of the first to join Antony's legions. It was a bitter, bloody struggle. Roman against Roman, each believing that right was on his side. I was commended for my courage in action, though all I did was keep my head and obey orders, and Antony himself promoted me to the rank of centurion just before the Battle of Philippi. That's where I got the scar on my neck, but I was lucky. Braver men than I died that day, including Brutus, who killed himself to escape the shame of defeat. Anthony wept at the sight of Brutus's corpse, and many of us wept with him. Then came the peace, though few believed that it would last. The empire was carved like a goose and divided up between the three victors. War makes for strange alliances, but none as strange as that trio. Octavius Caesar, Julius Caesar's nephew, was as ruthless and cold as Antony was warm and generous. Lepidus, the third ally, was a joke, a jellyfish with no sting. Caesar took the west, Antony the east, and Lepidus the African provinces that were left over. Almost straight away there was trouble in the east. The Parthians invaded Roman territory.